Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies as we begin with part 1 of the Genius of Freemasonry and the 20th Century Crusade by J.D. Buck, author of Mystic Masonry and a Study of Man, Supplemental Harmonic Series, Volume 1, Liberty and Light. Dedication. For the good of Masonry, in the interest of freedom and fraternity, light, liberty, and love, against ignorance, superstition, and fear, clericalism, despotism, and Jesuitism. If the liberties of the American people are ever destroyed, they will fall by the hands of the Roman clergy. General Lafayette, educated a Catholic. The policy of the Church of Rome is the very masterpiece of human wisdom. The experience of 1,200 eventful years, the ingenuity and patient care of 40 generations of statesmen have improved that policy to such perfection that, among the contrivances that have been devised for deceiving and controlling mankind, it occupies the highest place. Lord Macaulay. Foreword-To Freemasons. This little book has been written in answer to the oft-repeated question, has any brother anything to offer for the good of Masonry? The following pages are the author's answer to that question. He can hardly hope that every brother Mason will agree with his views of either Freemasonry or clericalism. All he asks is that they read and consider the facts herein set forth and their logical bearing on the signs of the times and the living issues of the day. While he has endeavored to make the matters herein discussed exceedingly plain and has restated the same problems in various forms, sometimes perhaps at the expense of mere literary form in composition, he feels that failure at that point is of little consequence compared with clearness as to principles involved. He feels that no intelligent brother need be any doubt as to what the author is driving at, how he regards it, or what, for one, he proposes to do about it. The issues involved are so monumentous, striking as they do at the very foundations of our whole civilization, that to evade, obscure, or ignore them entirely, as many do, seems to the author little short of criminal. The earnestness he feels regarding these issues and their present imminence must account for the emphasis employed in handling them. Good men may indeed differ as the dogma and individual opinions regarding the matter of philosophy or theology. But when men differ as to freedom or despotism, the rights of conscience or the enslavement of the human soul, when the issues are clearly defined and well understood, and the decision is deliberately made, and we have taken sides, then, indeed, there can be no compromise, no quarter shown. Then it is war, uncompromising, and must be fought to victory, defeat, or destruction. Clericalism has been made herein to tell its own story and define its own claims. Hence it stands as 3 men once stood near the coast of Joppa, convicted by the imprecations of their own mouths in its efforts to destroy liberty in Russia and Southern Europe. Clericalism has impoverished and embittered the people, converted Catholics into atheists, according to their own accounts, and virtually has destroyed itself. See article by Thomas McGrady in July Arena, 1907. It is now inaugurating in America the same crusade in which it has met defeat everywhere else. If these things are so, and no honest or well-posted individual can deny them, Nothing on earth or amongst the men can transcend them into importance. The reader who goes carefully over the following pages is left free to form his own conclusions and determine his own line of action. The author regards the view of Freemasonry herein set forth as equally true and equally important. The former work, Mystic Masonry, published nearly 10 years ago, very similar views of Masonry were set forth. These views, while appealing to more studious and thoughtful among the craft, have received commendation from Masons in nearly every corner of the globe, no less from fraters in the United States. The basis for the concepts therein given was first, the most ancient philosophy of old India, known in many ages and under many names, but more recently known as Theosophy, as this is taught in the secret doctrine, logical analogy, and the philosophical sequence of the law of evolution, were held as justifying the view of true Masonry therein set forth. Beyond this, the author's own intuitions, the concept that beneath the verbiage and the whole ritual of Masonry in the dramatic ceremonies of initiation, there must lie concealed far more than the surface reveals. The author was, moreover, somewhat familiar with the Kabbalah, particularly as set forth by his friend, the late Ralston Skinner, author of The Source of Measures, and of other unpublished MSS copies of which are in the author's present possession. The clues to the secret vault were thus by no means meager nor obscure. Since the publication of Mystic Masonry, however, the author has had the good fortune to become intimately acquainted with the author of the great work, who is not only a brother Mason, but a real Mason as the term is defined in Mystic Masonry. He has, therefore, been able to verify most of these statements and inferences made in his previous book and to justify the statements herein contained so far as Masonry and the Great School are concerned. The book is, therefore, addressed to brother Masons, particularly in America, with the express purpose and with the strong hope of inducing them to awaken, take notice, and act as seemeth to them all just and upright men and Masons ought. Politically, Rome today holds the balance of power in America and uses it unscrupulously to further its ambitions. It has the public press edited, boycotted, or under the conspiracy of silence solely in its interest, and is making rapid progress in undermining or destroying our free public schools. The church itself is the divine witness, preacher, judge of the revelation entrusted to it. There exists no other. There is no tribunal to which appeal from the church can lie. There is no coordinate witness, teacher, or judge who can revise or criticize or test the teachings of the church. It is sole and alone in the world. It belongs to the church alone to determine the limits of its own infallibility. Cardinal Manning. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.